over. Every time I try to catch Diddy's mom and the kids, I literally almost, I miss it by like literally 2 seconds. They just sped off. Yo, forget about that for a second. Bombshell in the courtroom today. Stuff that only happens in movies. Something that nobody could ever have predicted. Jane exploded on the stand, and we had to take a moment out of court for like 10 or 15 minutes. The judge intervened. It was crazy. You're gonna see it and hear about it everywhere. Like, she and Tenny Garagos, Diddy's lead counsel, had an explosion. She snapped on her. She snapped on one of Diddy's judges, on one of Diddy's trial attorney. Yo, everybody in the courtroom, they asked us to leave, and we were all in shock. Diddy was in shock. He turned to his kids. The kids were in shock. It's like, he's taking it, of course, like, oh my gosh, this is like a victory for us. I don't know if it's to that extent that that is gonna have him win the case, but it is definitely damaging to Jane's testimony. Yo, I'm gonna wait for a little more people to load in. No, go ahead, pass. I'm gonna wait for you a little bit, people to load in to tell y'all exactly what happened and give you guys the full tea. Yo, Jane snapped on the court today, in court today. Jane snapped on Tenny Garagos, Mark Garagos' daughter. Crazy, crazy. All right, I'm gonna have people load in. Whoa, I am literally, like, I'm not shaking, but if I was shaking, like, it would be now. Like, this is crazy. Okay, what I'm gonna do is, by the way, for those who don't know, we are live from the Diddy trial, 500 Pearl Street in New York, covering for you every day in the morning, lunch, and at the end of the day. Today, we are wrapping up a little bit early. The judge wanted to let us out early, so we let out at 3 o'clock. That's why I'm going live now, not at 5. At lunch, I came out quickly and let you guys know. I gave you guys 3 or 4 pages of already what happened, so I'm not going to go through that again. After you watch this one, you could go back and watch the last one. I'm going to go quickly while more people load in here. So today we told you about Diddy's team asking for a mistrial. The judge denied the mistrial. Don Hughes, the prosecutors want to bring back Don Hughes. Sorry, I'm still shocked about what happened in the courtroom, but I'll get to it. Let me build up to get to it, okay? So judge denied mistrial. Don Hughes, who is the therapist, the prosecutors want to bring her back. The judge says, nope, I'm not allowing that. There's a letter going out to people in the courtroom who is doxing Jane. That was back and forth. There's something that's going on with Juror 6. I forgot to tell you guys that at lunch. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later when more people are on. There's something going on with Juror 6. We're going to find out more tomorrow. Somebody on one side wants, or the other side, I'm not too sure it's the prosecution or the defense, they want Juror 6 stricken. I don't know why. I don't know if Juror 6 is sick. I don't know if Juror 6 was maybe caught looking at social media, talking about the case. There's something going on with Juror 6 we do not know yet. I forgot to tell you guys that at lunch. Tenny Garagos, her father, famous father lawyer, Mark Garagos, he was in the courtroom today. Just anybody who's just on here now, I'm just recapping what I told you guys at lunch, and I'm gonna get to exactly where I left off. So basically, Jane let us know that she got immunity. She doesn't really want to be testifying against Diddy. She still loves him. She does have some resentment for him, but not much regret. She's still in love with him. You guys can pass. No problem. Yeah, so she likes taking care of him. She's very maternal. She likes rubbing his feet. They still have a loving relationship. She just really got tired of doing all the freak-offs. The only reason why she even did freak offs is that so that she can get closer to him. Not closer in a money way, she's saying, but closer that was part of the relationship, part of the love. And it's gonna take a dark turn. That's what I didn't want to rush and tell you guys at lunch, and I really want to tell you guys now. They talked about doing hotel nights. That's their version of freak offs. With Cassie, it was freak offs. With Jane, it was hotel nights. They liked role playing. She said Diddy liked when she talked like a sexy talk, a fancy talk. They would role play. One of the role plays that Diddy liked is when she was with one of the SCX workers, and she would pretend to be cheating on Diddy. That's one of the role playing. I've heard of people and couples role playing, but I've never heard of a role play where you're trying to pretend like you're cheating on the person. Normal role play is like, yo, I'm the plumber and I'm coming here to fix your pipes, ha 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 ha, or something like that, or I'm the pizza delivery guy. No. What kind of role playing does Diddy want to do? Diddy wants to role play that you're cheating on him because he's out of town working on an album, but you're cheating on him. That's his role playing. Anyway, she said that she likes to do that kind of stuff. She wears high heels for him, etc., etc. She said that she's always been very fascinated with Diddy. He has a big personality. She says that Diddy always believed in her. He made her feel good. He encouraged her. He uplifted her. He encouraged her self-esteem. That's one of the things that she really loved about him. She was enamored by him. Diddy introduced her to gospel music, trying to change around her life. She says that she still listens to gospel music right now. Diddy invested $20,000 into a, thank you very much for that comment. You're here, I can't believe what state you are from. What? I can't believe you're here, what state you're from. Anyways, sorry, I get so bad, I cannot read comments because I get distracted. I'm gonna read comments after, okay guys? You have crazy people yelling in the street. I can't read comments, crazy people yelling in the street. I'm trying to see who's coming out. Let me stick to this and I'll get to that in a second. But thank you very much for all the comments, guys. Love y'all. Trust me, I do. Anyways, gospel music. Diddy, she told us that Diddy invested $20,000 into one of her companies. She has a swimsuit line and a dress line. Again, for those who are just in here now, I'm just recapping what I told you guys at lunchtime, and then I'm going to finish off the rest of the day. She only had $4,700 from child support from her baby daddy. Because of that, she started an OnlyFans page. She started making a lot of money off her OnlyFans page. She also told us today that she's very attractive to powerful men that are providers. She says she doesn't want to hide that. What else? She would love, sometimes when they made love, they would listen to adult movies. Diddy's defense team asked her that, and she said, yes, sometimes we did that. I guess that kind of like went into like the role playing. She says that, did you know that Diddy was poly and did you like it? She's like, I knew that he was poly. It didn't bother me, but I also didn't like it. But she was very well aware of the other girlfriends. All right, so by the way, now I'm starting back onto the things that I couldn't get to you guys at lunch, all right? So now I'm gonna slow down and get to what I want to tell you guys at lunch because I feel like the line of questioning from the defense today was indirectly Diddy testifying. I think they did a really, really good job today and not necessarily trying to poke holes in Jane's testimony. What they did today was testify and humanize Diddy. And let me tell y'all something. For my daily listeners and my daily followers, y'all know that I think above everybody that Diddy is sick. I think Diddy has a problem. The defense today, the line of questioning to Jane humanized Diddy, and you almost kind of felt sorry for him because she felt sorry for him, so much so. That's what I really wanted to slow down and tell you guys now, and I didn't want to rush and tell you guys at lunch, okay? So the Diddy's defense team says, did you get jealous? She said, yes, I was very jealous. He had public relationships with Young Miami. Did you really hate that? She said, yes, I hated seeing him with Young Miami. Said, what about Gina? Yes, I really hated seeing Gina. Y'all know Gina from Tasha K, and allegedly she is victim number 3, but Gina is nowhere to be found. She said, the defense team said, somebody said, what up, cuz? Oh, who is that? Oh, gosh. Sheridan, don't try to distract me. Then she says, yes, the reason why she didn't like, especially Gina and really Young Miami is because Young Miami got gifts. And stay tuned till the end because, yo, why are you yelling, man? Oh, this lady is driving me nuts. I keep hearing yelling in the background. I think things are popping off. Is she supposed to be directing traffic like that? It's supposed to be the police, no? Is she working with you guys? Is she part of the construction? That's your boss? Okay, so she's supposed to be doing that. All right, I guess so. All right. I'm gonna continue. You're mad at me now? Anyways, all right, so where was I? She goes, yes, she was upset with Gina and especially Young Miami because they got gifts and she didn't. She said yes. She says, then you asked for a necklace. Yes. Did Diddy get jealous also? Jane said yes. Was Diddy jealous when Bear gave you $9,000? I'm not 100% who Bear is. I think he is either a rapper or maybe he might be one of the SES workers. I went out to the bathroom quickly for that, so I'm not too sure. But somebody gave her $9,000. His name was Bear, and Diddy didn't really love that. Do you feel, okay, here is what I really want to get into, okay, guys? Listen to this and let me break down how the defense team humanized Diddy, and I'm sure this got to a few jurors. And for those of you who are just tuning in, stay tuned to the end of this live. I'm going to tell you the biggest bombshell that happened today. Jane snapped in the courtroom. She snapped at the lawyer. They had to evacuate the court and get everybody out, and the judge had to almost reprimand Jane. But I'll get to that at the end because that's how the day ended. Craziness. Okay. Tenny Garagos, Diddy's defense lawyer, says, do you feel like Diddy was addicted to DRUGs? Jane said yes. Said, did you want to help him get better? She said yes. Did you recommend sleep aids? She said yes. Listen to this. She says, are you aware that Diddy was on antidepressants? She said yes. And then she started naming a bunch of pills that Diddy would take for antidepressant. And Jane said, I didn't even know it was that bad. There are some things that you listed that I didn't even know about. And you could hear it when she said, I didn't even know about that. You could tell that she still felt bad for him, that he was addicted to these antidepressants. Did you ever say that he couldn't handle the war in his mind? And Jane says, yes, that sounds like something that I would say. There was a text message where she says that she felt like Diddy was in a constant battle in his mind and he had a war going on in his mind. That is huge to hear from a witness and somebody testifying that, and for the jury to hear that they feel like Diddy was depressed. It almost helps the case and it helps the defense with force, fraud, and coercion. It comes across now that, no, Diddy wasn't trying to do SCX trafficking. It wasn't just about SCX for him. It was the fact that he was addicted to DRUGs, he was taking a bunch of antidepressants, and this was just an escape. And that's what Jane was saying, is that that's why, even though she didn't want to do it, she's indirectly saying, I didn't really feel coerced to do it just because he was an ass. I felt coerced to do it because it was a release for him. He had such depression and he had such a war going on in his mind. I wanted to be there for him because I was so maternalistic and I cared and I loved him so much. Even though I didn't want to do that, I was doing it for him. That's going to be hard for a jury to convict somebody for wanting to have threesomes with his girlfriend, not for SCX trafficking, but because that was his release. A lot of people have a lot of crazy SCX fantasies, and a lot of people use SCX and DRUGs as a release. A lot of people that don't go to therapy, y'all know I have a big background in mental health, and a lot of people don't realize drinking on the weekends, smoking on the weekends, you're self-medicating yourself. If I told those people that want to get drunk on the weekends and smoke on the weekends, hey, you want to take antidepressants? They'd be like, nah, nothing's wrong with me. They don't realize they're self-prescribing their own medication. Just because you're buying it at the store doesn't mean it's not medication, right? So she is attributing Diddy's depression and his addiction to the freak-offs, which is making a connection that the jury will be able to be empathetic to him. I think that is brilliant that Diddy's defense team was able to do that without putting Diddy on the stand himself and Diddy having to say, yo, I was depressed, I feel like there's a war going on in my mind. He used Jane's testimony and text message to humanize Diddy. It was a masterful job. The last question is, did Diddy want to get ketamine therapy? Yes. That was another amazing, amazing line of questioning. It's showing that Diddy himself knew that he had a problem, that he had an addiction, that he wanted to help. Even the person who he's supposedly SCS trafficking under force, fraud, or coercion, even that person is saying, I know that he wanted to get help and he wanted to get help for his ketamine addiction. Thought it was powerful. Anyways, earlier today, I warned you guys about this, is that I don't know why Tenny does this, but she jumps around. So she leaves the DRUGs and then goes to hotel nights. I'm not too sure why, but she's one of the best lawyers in the US. Who am I to tell her what to do? Just letting you know I'm not jumping around. I'm giving you guys chronologically the questions she's asking. So let's put aside the addiction and the DRUG for a second. And when she goes to hotel nights, she says, one thing about hotel nights that you really liked, Jane, was the alone time after. And she says, that was my favorite part about having hotel nights. And for those of you who don't know, Jane calls freak-offs hotel nights. Cassie, it was freak-offs. For Jane, it's hotel nights. And Jane says that was the best part of hotel nights, is that when the guys would leave, that I got to have alone time with him. Hey, how are you? Yeah. I don't know. I'm not from here. I'm just here covering the Diddy trial. I have no idea. I would get you more lost than you are already now. Yeah, I'm new here. All right. Sorry. Just go on the street and ask maybe one of these people over here, like the locals, okay? All right. Have a good night. Okay. So she said, yes. Yes, he was loving and he was catering to you. Jane says, yes. After hotel nights, he was very, very catering to me. Was he affectionate to you without having hotel nights? And Jane said, kinda. He was kind of affectionate. So she would use these hotel nights to get what she wanted out of it, was the affectionate Diddy. And again, that goes back to the war he was having in his mind. You gotta think, Diddy's a billionaire. He has a bunch of companies going on. He's losing millions of dollars and making millions of dollars each day. And for him, we know now that he's addicted to DRUGs, he's taking antidepressants, and one of the ways to get somebody out of what's going on in their everyday life, she found out, is having a freak off, and then after the freak off or hotel night, that's when he would be able to unplug and she would be able to get more affection. Again, do you want to put somebody away for life, knowing that even the girl who is supposedly SCX traffic under force, fraud, and coercion are doing this because he's dealing with the weight of the world on his shoulders? It will be pretty hard. Okay, then Tenny now jumps over to cucking. She's like, okay, Jane, in your phone we found out that you researched cucking. And she's like, tell me a bit what you found out. And she said, I learned what cucking was because I wanted to know what it did for him. And for those of you who don't know, I'm even new to this. Cucking is a guy that likes to sit down in the corner while another guy is with his girl, right? I just found this out just, I think, 2 weeks ago. That chair in a hotel room, if you ever go rent a hotel room, there's a bed and there's a chair. That's called a cuck chair. That is for the husband to sit down and watch his wife be with somebody else. Never knew that. Anyway, so because this was new to her, she's like, yo, let me start researching it. And then Diddy's lawyer says, she said, so what did you learn when you studied and you looked more into cucking? She said, I found out that it helps knowing that he's not the only one. It helped her know that he wasn't the only one. She thought, it's weird, like, why does my man want to see me? But she goes, the fact that I know now that this is a thing, that's such a thing that it's in hotel rooms, that other guys want this, it made her feel good knowing Diddy's not the only one. And it's not like something that's wrong with her or something that's wrong with him. It's a normal thing. Then she did some more deep diving and found out that some men get a kick out of cucking because they get to direct their wife what to do. So it's kind of a little bit like of a control thing where it's, yes, there's another man with my wife, but I'm allowing it. I'm saying it's okay. I'm directing the show. And we heard that in testimony from before, that Diddy likes to tell them exactly what to do, likes to set up the room, likes to set up the lighting, do this position, do this now, finish now, don't finish now, don't wear protection. So I think he gets a thrill out of controlling her, even the fact that there's somebody else with her, which is beyond my scope of imagination, but hey, I am not a cuck, clearly. The last thing that she found out is that it could be that they're bi, and it's their way of being close to a man without actually being with a man, which is pretty interesting. So imagine if you're like bi-curious as a man, you're bi-curious and you're like, okay, I don't really want to go that far, but I like to see it a little bit. And we all know that Diddy liked SCX workers that had big ones. So maybe Diddy's like, yo, I don't want to take it, but I want to be close enough to see my girl take it, and it's living out his bi-curious fantasies, all right? That's what she found out. Then Tenny was like, okay, thank you. Let's go back to hotel nights. Like I told you, she's jumping around. By the way, there's new people in here right now. I just want to let you guys know the thumbnail and the picture here is Jane had an explosion in the courtroom today. She snapped at one of Diddy's lawyers. The judge had to clear the courtroom. Huge. It happened at the end of the day, so I want to take you guys through a chronological process. I'll let you know, but just I want to take you through the day. This is around like 1 o'clock, so I have another like hour or so of testimony. It will take me 10 minutes to get through, and then I'll let you know what happened today with Jane and Diddy's lawyer, Tenny Garagos, and how maybe she erased her whole testimony. And I want to say gave Diddy the trial, but if you've seen Diddy's team's reaction, they were elated. This is stuff that happens in the movies. This happened today in the trial. Like, I never think that I would see something like this ever in my life, other than in a movie, and it happened today, all right? So stay tuned, I'm almost there. Okay, so she talks to her about cucking and then goes back now to hotel nights. She said, did you guys like to talk after? Yes, we love talking. We found out just 2 pages ago that that's what she loves the most, is after the hotel nights or freak-offs, Diddy gets way more affectionate. They start talking. He starts opening up to her. Did you guys like watching back your movies? Did you like watching back the videos with him? Yes, so she liked watching, you know, y'all heard that Diddy takes videos of them. They watch it back together, okay? You went a few nights, sorry guys, sometimes my handwriting is super fast and they go quick fast and I don't know what it is. You went a few nights to end something. All right, we'll have to skip that. When you became more vocal about it, not doing it, was he okay with it? Okay, sorry, I know what this is now. So we told you about this yesterday. She doesn't mind doing it for him, but sometimes she gets a little vocal and she doesn't want to do it. And she says, Diddy's defense team says, the times where you really voiced to him that you didn't really want to do it, what did he say? And he said he was okay with it. When you didn't like a guy, what would Sean say? So she says, listen, Sean wanted to go with Ben. She wanted to go with Chris. She said it was okay. He let me choose the guy that I wanted to go with. So when you didn't like a guy, Sean was okay with you letting you go with him? Yes. September 2023, there was an Italian guy that you didn't like, and you said you didn't like him, and he was gone. Yes? Yes. Diddy says that I could let him go right away. After the Italian guy was gone, you called Cabal. She said yes. Now, keep in mind, yesterday we told you about Cabal. Cabal is one of her favorites. This goes to the defense saying, hey, it's not force, fraud, and coercion. She's picking the guys. How are you forcing somebody, coercing somebody, or fraudulently bringing them to an SEX trafficking, but they could pick the guy that they want, and the guy that you pick, the Italian guy, Diddy doesn't like him. She doesn't like him. Diddy's like, all right, he could go. Call whoever you want. Now, this line of questioning stops. Then she goes back to DRUG. She says, did you do, I don't know what this word is here, without entertainers? Oh, hold on. She's asking her, did you do DRUGs without hotel nights? Jane said yes. This is going to the fact that the prosecution is trying to make it seem like Diddy is making these girls take DRUGs, ecstasy, and all of this stuff. So Diddy's defense team says, do you ever take ecstasy by yourself? Jane said, yes, I don't only do it when there's entertainers around. Did Puff like to do it as well too? Yes, Puff said he really liked to do it and he was more creative, but we already know that because he admitted to being addicted to them, right? She said there was one time that they got sad after a hotel night and you cried, and what did Diddy do? She said Diddy held her after one of the hotel nights. Then she goes back to DRUG again. Like I tell you, she keeps jumping around. I hope it's not raining. She said, did you ever carry DRUGs for Diddy? Yes. And I think that's why the prosecution gave her immunity, because she says that she carried DRUG across state lines for Diddy. Now, we all know that Diddy's not selling DRUGs, but I think maybe he has a supplier or he has somebody that he likes and he wants to maybe bring some to LA, bring some to New York, or bring some to Miami. Y'all know he lives in those different places. So she brought DRUG for Diddy. She's admitting it on the stand. She said yes twice. She said at first she was nervous about it, but she called KK, and KK said, and if you don't know, KK is Diddy's like right-hand woman, okay? We think that she's one of Diddy's co-conspirators. She said that she said KK told her, don't worry, it's nothing to stress over. You could just bring it in your carry-on. She said, I do it all the time. KK told Jane she does it all the time. She said, you and KK did it alone? Yes. She said she didn't like, she asked if she liked KK. She says, no, I didn't like KK because I know KK didn't like me. And the reason why I didn't like her is because she didn't like me, and I know that she has a big influence over Diddy. Why this is pertaining to this, I don't know. Okay, stay tuned. We're getting close. Woo, it's 2 pages away. Then she says, okay, I want to talk back to about the SEX workers again. Trying to like I was gonna say normify it, but that's not the right word. When I find it, I'll tell you. So it goes, you found some of the SEX workers cute. She says, yes, there was one that had blue eyes. He was really cute. What was his name? Paul. Paul was one of my favorites. We told you guys yesterday that when Diddy was in the house, when they were supposed to have that romantic night and it went crazy and awry and he broke down those doors, it was Paul who she called back. Diddy's defense team is trying to make it seem like it turned, especially Paul, or a couple of them, turned into sub-relationships. Listen to this. So you thought one was cute. Yes, blue eyes. Paul was your favorite. Yes. Did you ever say you missed Paul, Jane? Yes, I miss Paul. How are you going to ask a jury to convict somebody for SEX trafficking his girlfriend with SEX workers when your girlfriend or your ex-girlfriend is on the stand saying, I said that I missed Paul. I said that I liked Paul. I thought Paul was cute. Does that sound like somebody who was forced, fraud, or coerced? That's really, really hard to convict somebody off of that. I'm talking just this testimony alone. I know there's more testimony. I'm just trying to tell you the huge win the defense had today, okay? I'm not on anybody's side. I'm just here to report to you guys. I haven't looked at the comments, so normalize, normalize. Thank you. I love you guys. Normalize. I need somebody to like read comments. I wish you guys could like speak to me. Yes, they're trying to normalize her relationships with the SEX workers. Man, I love you guys so much, man. Okay, listen to this, guys. You want to talk about normalization? Listen to this. Yesterday, you told us that you had one of the best sexual experiences of your life. Guess with who? Paul. She is saying, hi, officers. She is saying that one of her best sexual experiences is with one of the SEX workers, Paul. We told you guys yesterday that when that whole incident happened at her house, the house that Diddy bought for her, and Diddy was putting hands on her, which was horrible. It's probably a more horrible incident than Cassie's. Go back and watch yesterday's end of the day recap. But she's saying after that happened and they called somebody, she said, yo, can I call Paul? And she said that she had the best SEX, one of the best SEX experiences with Paul. Crazy. And it gets worse. Listen to this. Diddy's defense, Diddy's lawyers, Tenny Garrigo says, did you guys have nicknames for each other? Jane said, yes. Myself, Paul, and Diddy, we had nicknames. She said they call themselves the trifecta. Y'all know what a trifecta is? Google that, okay? A trifecta. When you get 3 things perfect in a row, that's a trifecta. They had sub-nicknames for this trifecta group. Listen to what their names are. Diddy was Kobe, Paul was Shaq, and Diddy was Jordan. Yo. Does that sound like forced fraud or coercion to you? They have a group called the Trifectas, and their names are Kobe, Shaq, and Jordan. What the heck is going on, man? She says, have you ever called Paul your boyfriend? Jane says, yes. Did you ever tell Diddy that you wanted to have more control over the hotel nights, freak-offs? She said, yes. Did you like to watch movies? And did you like to DM some of the guys that you watched adult movies? Jane said yes. Her and Diddy would sit down and watch adult movies. Oh, I think it's starting to rain. She would sit down and watch adult movies, and she would pick some of the workers from the adult movies and DM them from her Instagram. Is my mic working? Yo, Jane said that she picked some of the workers from her Instagram and she DM'd them. You wanted to have a choice of the entertainers. Yes. 5 to 15 of the texts. Okay, I didn't write these down because they go into text messages and half of it I can't say to you guys over YouTube anyways, but for literally about half an hour, she makes Jane read text messages to Diddy about the hotel nights, about how much she wants him, about what she does to him, how she's never finished as much with any other guy, how she's never felt this way with any other guy but with Diddy. And then she starts describing how she enjoys two at the same time. Y'all could read between the lines, okay? So it goes on for around 20 minutes, and I'm telling you guys, it is so uncomfortable to be in a silent courtroom with a bunch of people hearing somebody's private messages about SEX getting read out by a lawyer and somebody testifying. It's crazy. The jury, one person that was beside me while I was writing, he's like, yo, look at the jury. There was one lady on the jury that was literally had the most disgusting look on her face, because some of it got raunchy. I even felt uncomfortable, all right? And that stuff doesn't make me feel uncomfortable at all. It was pretty bad. And he was saying that one of the jurors, he felt, got super turned off by the fact of we are supposed to be looking at her as a victim, and she definitely is a victim. You could tell by yesterday's testimony, you could tell she's a victim. However, today the defense team normalized Diddy so much that I feel like the jury almost forgot about what they heard yesterday and some of the horrible things that he put her through and how much she hated during the freak-offs, because these text messages were literally almost her begging for them. It was crazy, okay? So I resume and I start writing again. Showing how much you like it. Jane says, it was just a fantasy role playing because I know you like it. So they're asking her, okay, Jane, you told us all of this stuff yesterday, and now we're reading all these text messages today for the past half an hour about how much you like it, how much you need it, how much you can't live without it, that Diddy's the best ever, that Diddy is this, Diddy is that. I'm sure Diddy in his head was like, yeah, keep talking about me, because you know Diddy's a narcissist and egotistical. Trust me, it sounds like Diddy is like the baddest dude ever on the planet, okay? That's how those text messages were sounding. But she saved herself a little because she said, that was a fantasy role play. I know he likes hearing those things, and it goes back to the beginning of what I was even telling you in this video. She knows that Diddy was stressed out, taking antidepressants, was addicted to DRUGs, and this was her way for a loving girlfriend to be there for the man that she loved. So although the defense was doing a great job, the prosecution really prepped her to say, hey, when they ask you about all these text messages, don't let him normalize it. Thanks for reminding you of the word normalize. But just say, yo, these text messages weren't necessarily how I was feeling. I was just being a loving girlfriend and helping him. I was really internally disgusted and I really didn't want to do these things, but I know how much it helped him. Now it will be up to the jury what they believe. And one of those girls, that look on her face, it doesn't look like she's going to believe her, but we'll find that out in a couple of weeks. There's a couple other things. Diddy had said to her one time in one of the text messages, like, hey, I'm up for something tonight if you are, but I just want to make sure you're in the mood. And Diddy was like, listen, if you're not in the mood, it's totally cool. Maybe you need a break. We could just be with each other. And then she said, no, it's totally fine. I don't mind it. I don't mind mixing the two. I'm going to get a little bit more into that too after, okay? So now is the part where you guys are tuned in for. Like I told you, she's jumping around. So she leaves the text messages now, Tenny Garagos, and then she goes, okay, Jane, I want to get into some jealous text messages. She's like, okay, fine, no problem. Let me get to the right page here. So she's like, Can you tell me a time when you saw something on Instagram that you didn't like? She's like, oh, I saw one of Diddy's girlfriends or somebody that he was dating on Instagram, and he got a gift, and I asked him about it, and she said that Diddy kind of like brushed it off and was like, oh, it's not a big deal. And then Tenny said, listen carefully, she's like, she alluded to the fact that like, yeah, it's not really that much of a big deal because I'm sure Diddy gets you gifts too. But if you remember, for the past 2 days, she has been complaining, especially about Young Miami, that Young Miami gets private jets for her birthday, all of this stuff, and all Jane gets is to be his hotel and free golf partner. She doesn't really get anything, and she wants gifts. So when Tenny says, why would that make you upset seeing that on IG? You get gifts too. Jane says, the only thing that I have gotten is trauma. That was the first little snapback. Then Tenny says, yes, but you told us yesterday that you got a Bottega bag. A Bottega bag is like a $4,000 or $5,000 bag, okay? It's a pretty expensive bag. Then Tenny says, tell the jury how much a Bottega bag is, because Tenny is now trying to show that she has no right to be jealous over this girl on Instagram because she got a Bottega bag. But Jane doesn't want to tell the jury how much the bag is. So guess, and by the way, you cannot do this. You're on a stand, you're here to testify. When somebody asks you something, you have to answer them. So just remember, the first thing she says is, only thing I've gotten from this relationship is trauma. Then Tenny says, nah, you got a bag. Tell the jury how much this bag is worth. Jane says, why don't you tell them? I'm sure you have bags like this yourself. You cannot talk to a defense lawyer like that. You cannot snap back at it, and trust me, it gets worse. If you ask somebody on a stand after they just testified for 3 days against your client, and you ask, can you tell the jury how much the bag was? You cannot say to Diddy's lawyer, nah, you tell them. I'm sure you have that shit too. Sorry for swearing, YouTube. The judge intervenes, and it's like, Jane, it was literally like, I can't describe it, man. Like, everybody was shocked because for the past 3 days, all you hear is say, yes, no, yes, no. For her to be like, I'm not saying nothing. You have one, you tell them. The judge is like, hey, Jane, you cannot do that. You have to answer the question. She answers and she says around $3,000 or $4,000, okay? Then the judge is like, yo, order, everybody calm down. She asks her one more time. She says, Jane, I'm gonna ask you again, how much is the bag worth? You know what Jane says? Jane says, how much is my body worth? Everyone's like, oh, the jury gasped, whatever. Like, yo, the judge already reprimanded her. You cannot get back and get feisty again and ask her how much you think my body is worth. Crazy. The judge again is like, listen, you have to answer the question. You cannot act like that. Jane says, listen, I want a moment. The judge is like, order in the court, and he cleared everybody out the court. Yo, I'm telling you, it was crazy. That kind of stuff only happens in the movies, and the reason why if you'll ever talk to a lawyer and they'll say that, yo, that's just in Hollywood, is because for somebody on the witness stand to answer back a lawyer one time and say, yo, the only thing I got from this is trauma, and then for a judge to reprimand you and say, listen, do not talk in my courtroom like that. You must answer the defense team. You must answer the questions. Don't get feisty in here. And for the lawyer to ask her back again and say, address now that the judge told you, tell the jury how much the purse is worth. And she said, how much is my body worth? I see somebody in the chat saying, yo, I love that she did that. I don't think it's a big deal at all. It is a huge deal. You cannot talk to a judge like that. You cannot talk like that. This is not on the street. You cannot talk to, now I'm gonna actually look, I'm gonna look at some comments to see what you all think. Jane is mad because you're finding out that she's about money. She's fighting back to their nonsense because she got a purse and whatever, she feels like she's violated. I guess you didn't see Young Thug's trial. Yes, I know, but you have to understand, guys, Jane Jane is a huge character witness, okay? Cassie is their main witness, but I told you guys yesterday, Jane is a huge witness. If Jane comes across as being somebody who cannot keep her composure in a courtroom, especially after a judge reprimands you, you can get sanctioned for stuff like that. When a judge tells you to do something, you must do it in court. This is not out on the street. I know you feel like she wants to talk back, and we all want to fight back for her, but you cannot do that. And it makes her look like she has a temper. It makes her look like she's not controllable. I don't know if you guys heard this, she asked, after she said, "How much is my body worth?" She said, "Your Honor, I want a break." She asked to clear the courtroom, and the judge let her. The judge was being super nice. He did not have to let her, but he said yes. Jane came back, so we're all in shock. Everybody is freaking out. Let me just tell you also what Diddy was doing, because Diddy knows how much of a win this is for him. But everybody cleared out. We're all freaking out in the courtroom. We're wondering what the judge is going to do. She comes back in. The first thing that she says is she's like, "I'd like to address the court and apologize for that outburst." Because the prosecution told her, if you have one more outburst like that and you don't apologize, you can ruin this whole thing for us. Yesterday, I don't know if you guys, somebody said I don't think it's funny. Yeah, it's not funny at all. Trust me, it's not funny. Oh my gosh, so mad I missed this. You have a good point. Trust me, I'm telling you, man. She can't talk like that. I guess her body is only worth 4,000, but that's what she was trying to say. She's like, forget about the purse, forget about the Bottega purse. Like, how much is my body worth? I had to deal with trauma being with this man, trying to take care of this man. But that's not how you get your point across. Anyways, let me carry on. Some people said they missed it. Don't worry, this will be posted on the page. You could watch this back. But that is huge. Yesterday, if you guys missed it, we told you about her being in the house and seeing something on Diddy's phone, and she told us that she took his head, she hit it on the counter, and she threw a glass at him, and she threw candles. So she is telling us yesterday that she put hands on Diddy, she slapped him, she threw candles at him, she went through his phone, she hit his head on a counter, and now today she's snapping back at a judge in a federal courthouse. Do you know what that is? That is a federal courthouse. You cannot talk to a judge like that. You can get sanctioned. You cannot talk to a lawyer like that. You cannot do those things. If she's doing that in a courtroom, imagine what she's doing back at Diddy's house. And then now you take all of that, you put that all together, and you want her to be on the stand and come across as a victim. You want the jury to feel sorry for her and convict her and convict Diddy and send him to jail for putting hands and doing these things on a girl. When she's snapping like that, she doesn't look as innocent. I do think she's innocent. I told you guys yesterday, I feel like she's in love. I could tell the trauma bonding. I could see all of the issues that she has. And the thing that's so sad about her is that she's still in love with Diddy, as much of an a-hole that he is to her. But you have to not let your temper get to you in front of the jury so that you can come across as innocent as possible. Like Cassie did an amazing job. Like, we all still feel empathetic for Cassie. If Cassie would have exploded and been feisty like that, it would have tainted her testimony. And don't forget, victim number 3 has not shown up. This testimony is pretty much out the window. We're gonna see more cross tomorrow. We're gonna see what happens tomorrow. But if you take away victim 3 and you take away this testimony, all now you have is Cassie. And Cassie happened 10 or 15 years ago, and everybody's saying about Cassie, it's just DV and it's not really SEX trafficking. Anyways, trust me, it is a huge deal, okay? Anyways, let me continue now. It's already going on a little bit long. Jane said, I want to take a break. Shock, craziness. The jury leaves. Jane leaves. Diddy turns around to his family like this. I swear to you. Diddy's like this. He goes, because he can't really talk because he doesn't want to get sanctioned. He looks at his sons. He's like, yeah, I told you. Yeah. He stands up and, hold on, let me remember everything. Oh yeah, so he stands up, he turns to his family in shock, whatever, and then he sees Quincy. Quincy is Albie son, his adopted son, you know, the one with the blonde hair, y'all know Quincy. So he sees Quincy, and Quincy wasn't there the whole day, only Justin and, what's the other one named? King Combs, Christian and Justin. So when he sees, it was only Justin and Christian there. So when he turns around and sees Quincy, he's like, yo, did you see that? He's like, yo, love. He's like, he starts blowing kisses. I've never seen Diddy so happy in court like that. So happy that the officers in court, they had to like calm everybody down, and they made Diddy. I was standing up. It was madness, man. I asked the security guy in court, He said he's been here 25 years and he's never seen an outburst like that in court. That does not happen. I'm talking to people from Fox, ABC, or whatever that are trial reporters. They've never seen anything like that happens in court. And as much as I am trying to enact it for you guys, it's impossible for me to ever enact exactly what was feeling in there. And that's exactly why I told you guys why I want to cover this trial from being in the courtroom, because you cannot get this over on Twitter, and it's even hard for me to even get this over like on Instagram to you guys. I mean on YouTube to you guys. Anyways, whew. So Diddy freaks out. He's super happy. He turns over to Quincy, blows kisses. Mark Garagos, who is Tenny Garagos' father, he's sitting down like this. That's my girl, like that, like a proud papa. Like it was crazy, crazy work. Anyways, like I said, 10 or 15 minutes later, everybody calms down. They bring everybody back into court. And Jane walks through again. And like I told you, she says, hey, I'm really sorry about that. I would like to continue. The rest of it is a little bit boring, but just to let you know how it continued. So then she's like, okay, let's pick up where we left off. I don't even know where they really left off because Tenny likes to jump around so much. She's like, anyways, Diddy gave you $20,000 investment for your business. Yes. Has your business ever turned a profit? She's like, yeah, it turned a profit. So like, did he ever ask you for any other profits? No, he didn't ask me for any other profits. And she was like, hey, yesterday you told Diddy you wanted $100,000 for being with him and loss of income, but he gives you $20,000 to invest in your company. And you make a profit, and he doesn't ask for anything back. It doesn't seem like he is that type of guy. Is he a nice guy? Is he a supportive boyfriend? I know it's really out of left field, guys, but this is how Tenny works. So she says, yes, he didn't ask for anybody back, and he was nice to me. Then she's like, okay, let's go back to some of these, text messages. Another 20 minutes of these really bad text messages. She says, let's go and hang out during one of these text messages. Let's go out and have some wine. That's when I feel the sexiest. Diddy replies and said, really, I didn't know that's when you feel your sexiest, is when you have wine. If that's what makes you feel sexiest and that's what you like, why have you been taking DRUGs? Don't take ecstasy, take wine. That is total contradiction to what the prosecution has been telling us, that Diddy is bringing these girls to these hotels like Cassie and these other victims and, almost quote unquote forcing them to take DRUGs. And now, oh my gosh, freaking, get away from me, bro. Yo, these rats in New York do not play, man. A rat just literally came up. I thought I was gonna run up my leg. Anyways, somebody said, not a big deal. She's human. She has been through so much. Diddy happy his ex-girlfriend found. Okay, not a big deal. You trust me, it's the biggest friggin' deal, all right? Bumbleclot. If they're licking off shots, I'm out of here, man. All right, let me finish this off because I feel like someone's licking some shots. I almost got a rat run up on me and people are licking shots. Anyways, so there's text message of Diddy saying, yo, don't take DRUGs, have wine if you want. Again, that goes against the claim and the charge of force, fraud, and coercion. And the prosecution been telling us that he brings these girls, he gives them DRUGs, and they're out of their mind and they don't know what they're doing. They have a text message saying, take wine if you want, if that's what makes you feel sexy. So these text messages are Diddy saying, we don't have to do these things or whatever. And then she answers him back. She goes, listen, I don't want to go totally left. I don't want to always be lovemaking with you, and I don't always want to be drinking wine. I just don't want to do it all the time. Can we have a mix of both? She says, I actually kind of feel like I like them sometimes. You just want to do them too much. Diddy now plays games with her. He goes, no, it's okay. We don't need to do them anymore at all. We're just gonna have wine and we're just gonna make love. We're not doing any of that stuff anymore. And she says, no, that's not what I said. I don't mind it at all. And then Diddy says, as a joke, and he's like, yo, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna make you beg for hotel nights. Now, y'all know that's just him like macking and just trying to be funny. When you talk to your girl, like, oh, I don't want to do something. I want to do something. Like, oh, really? Okay. You don't mind it? No problem. I'm gonna make you beg for it. So that's how we ended the day off with Diddy. This is a crazy way to end off an SEX trafficking case with Diddy saying, we're not having any more hotel nights. I'm gonna make you beg for them if we ever have one again. All we're gonna do is drink wine and chill out and make love. Very, very hard to convince a jury to send somebody to jail for life under that charge when you have a testimony like this, on top of her freaking out like that. Woo! Nobody testifying hates him. That's the pattern. I totally agree with you. Like she said today, they have resentment. They hate the fact that that he has this disgusting trait, but yes, because they are so damaged and because they're so trauma bonded to him and they really do love him, they are putting themselves first. They're putting him first before themselves. That's trauma bonding. That's the sad part about it. Well, I don't know if everybody has seen, hopefully you don't, but I have seen that many times in my life, right? I've told you guys before who watch daily, like I grew up like that. I'm seeing that like in my family, and it's sad, and that's why I'm always an advocate for women. Um, it is sad to see, and I tell you guys that you could see how much Jane loves him. You could see how much Cassie loves him. I mean, I wasn't in court for Cassie, but I read the transcripts. You could see how much she loved him. Yes, Cassie's with Alex now and has a family, but I feel like even the people that worked for Diddy loved him, and because he's a narcissist and because he knows he can always get his way and he's a billionaire, he took advantage and he played games with people and he played on people's weak parts of themselves and knew he can get away with it, It's just really, really sad, man. Was this the third request for mistrial? All right, so we talked, okay, now that I'm done, I'm gonna go to some comments and then I'm gonna log off. So today was technically not a second mistrial request, it was the second. So there was one, I don't remember what it was, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, the judge denied it. Today was the second official request for mistrial. If you missed it, go to the lunchtime recap. I let you guys know. Basically, the judge is like, I'm not giving you a mistrial because Bonna said that Cassie was there. Bonnie says Cassie wasn't there when Diddy was hanging over the balcony. And then Cassie came and said, yes, I was there. The judge is like, that's not grounds for a mistrial. That's grounds for the defense striking a win because you got Cassie and Bana not telling the same story and it makes it look like one of them is lying and that discredits you. So the judge is like, I'm not gonna give you a mistrial when you have a win. That was a great cross-examination. You guys got a win of it. That's not a mistrial. But like I keep telling you guys, that is Diddy. Hey, Chef, what up? Chef BX in the building. I'm still waiting on my food. So he's like, I'm not giving you a mistrial for that. What was that with the jury? I can't talk to you guys about anything with the jury. I could just tell you like facial expressions. I can't describe anything to you. I can't wait until I talk to you guys about until I can talk to you guys about the jury. You have no idea. I have theories about this jury. It was discovered that it was on the 30th and not on the 26th. No, we're not talking about the dates. That's one of the issues for the mistrial, the 30th and the 26th. But also, I don't remember who said who, but Bana either testified that Cassie was there when she was hung over the balcony, and then let's just say it was this. Bana said, yo, when he was hanging over the balcony, Cassie was there. That was her testimony. Then at Cassie's testimony, Cassie said, nah, I wasn't there. That is conflicting. That makes it seem like they're both making it up. You should both be saying, yes, but Banner should be saying Cassie was there, Cassie should be saying Cassie was there. But because they're both saying two different things, they said that that's prejudice to the jury, which is ridiculous. And I keep telling you guys, they're making $3 million a month. Diddy's defense team is there to try to make Diddy feel good, all right? So Diddy, we're gonna try to get you a mistrial. Oh no, sorry, we tried, buddy. The lawyers know that wasn't gonna be a mistrial. That was a great cross-examination from Nicole, and they got Bonna and Cassie to mess up and say who was there, and also to the dates. But then on cross-examination, she said, yes, I didn't remember. Even the judge said that today. She said, Bana says that she was on DRUGs. To me, it's not a big deal that she didn't remember the date. It's consistent with somebody who was always on DRUGs to not remember a date 10 years ago. I don't remember what happened a year ago. How do you expect somebody who is on DRUG all the time to remember what happened 10 years ago? The date is ridiculous. Anyways, the judge threw it out, so no mistrial. Diddy is the devil. I really don't think, well, yes, he is the devil, but I think more, I'm telling you, I've been telling this for a long time, Diddy is mentally sick, bro. He has a mental problem, man. And you even heard that with Jane today when he said, yo, he's fighting a war in his head. Diddy is sick. That's why I think that he should be put in jail, because he's sick, man. He is deranged. If you guys hear the text messages, the things like, he is not a normal person, man. He is not a normal person, and that is why he's harmful and dangerous. He is really, really, really like, that guy is not to play with, man. Listen, I'm always gonna come from a mental health perspective. Like, he needs to be in a psych ward, and he needs years and years and years and years of therapy, years. He needs to get off the drugs, get clean. He needs to go to a rehabilitation center. it's unfortunate. Like, putting them into jail. Jails don't have good mental health um, facilities, and they're not like, we all hear it all the time, right? Just the jails just throw people in a hole and just leave them there. Anyways, let's not get into that. But yes, Diddy is crazy. The judge is great. Yo, this judge is amazing. He is flawless. I haven't heard him make a mistake once. He's super fair. He could have let Don testify again, Don Hughes. He said today, nah, sorry, prosecution. If you want to bring now Jane and you want to bring Don now, the therapist, to say, talk about trauma bonding, she already did. If the jury doesn't remember, that's your fault. You should have put all the witnesses together and ended with the doctor. You can't just bring her anytime you want to. Judge is super fair, man. Diddy is going to lose it in jail mentally. For sure, he's going to, dude. For sure, for sure. Putting your hands on women, but he's just a freak. Cut it out, Angela. I don't know what you're talking to. Okay, he was fair. Yeah, the judge is super fair. All right, let me take a couple more. Stop pushing your narrative. Oh, I think Angela is talking to somebody here. I don't know. He is also a master manipulator. 1,000%, but somebody who's a narcissist is a master manipulator, 1,000, a million percent. So Jane is head over heels. Like somebody said in the chat, he's a master manipulator and he gets everybody around him to do whatever he wants, man. The judge isn't biased. Trent, you look so handsome in NYC. Thank you. Trent, when is KK taking a stand? That's what I want to know. I don't know if you guys know, but I told you guys on, I think it was last week, Thursday, the prosecution announced that KK is now officially a co-conspirator. Diddy is co-conspirator 1, KK is co-conspirator number 2. We don't know, there could be more people. Does that mean that she's gonna take the stand? I don't know. Does that mean that they gave her immunity? I have no idea. They haven't told us that yet. They haven't even told us when Jane's last days are gonna be and then who is gonna be after Jane. I have no idea, but as soon as I know, I'm right here at the courthouse every day. I got people, I'll talk and I'll let you guys know. Has Diddy's daughter returned to court? Nope. I've been here all week. I haven't seen them. It's only his mom and his sons. And for those of you who don't know, we all go to lunch at the same cafeteria. I'm literally right in line beside Diddy's mom. I'm like, hi, Mrs. Combs, your hair looks nice. Justin, Christian, that guy, I think is his godson that wears a free Diddy shirt. They're all there, but no, the daughters have not been back. This was discovered that it was, okay, I already read that, blah, 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 blah. 50 Shades of the Diddler. Don't say 50 Shades of Diddler because 50 Shades of Grey was a dope movie with consenting normal adults, and Diddy is sick, all right? Thanks, Trent, for the great coverage. No problem. I'm here to do what I do. Thanks for the updates. Watching from Chicago. Chi-Town in the building. What up? Chi-Town. What else? Was this the third request? Oh, so the third request for mistrial. There was 2, and Brian Steele hinted at a third. He was at a sidebar, and he says, if the person who's on the stand says one more thing, I'm gonna ask for a mistrial. So technically there has been 2 requests for mistrial and 1 hint at one. So I forgot to end that. I think it would be worse if they hated him, then there's a conspiracy. Good, very good point. Watch out for the rats. Yeah, rats are crazy, bro. Never going to NYC, the rats. Yo, the rats are like, it's like they think they're people or something. It's crazy, man. 50 Cent, send the rats facts for sure. They're here to get Diddy. Never going there. Rats or 50 Cent. Oh my gosh, rats. They be walking the city like it's daylight, 1,000%. Big deal girl. Who introduced her to Ruggs? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if they asked her if she ever took DRUGs before Diddy. I don't remember. Janet Comey, stop making excuses. She needs to be held accountable. Just like that. Want Diddy held accountable. Okay. Erica says, Janet Comey, stop making excuses. She needs to be held accountable, just like you want Diddy to be held accountable for his mistakes. Hey Trent, great reporting. Thank you. Virgo, okay, I don't know that. Blogger page, I don't know what that is. Not a big deal, she's human. Okay, I think I got this. 2 addicts helping each other is laughable. That's true. But I don't know if I would actually really classify her as an addict. You saw in the last text message that I read to you where she said that she actually really prefers and feels the most sexiest when she's drinking wine. And Diddy is really the one that likes the ecstasy and all of that other stuff. I wouldn't classify her as an addict. What's the outburst though? All right, I already told you that. Hey Trent, it's Tamara here, number one out loud. Oh, Tamara's in the building. Bah, 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 bah. Tamara is the one who named the Out Louders. The Out Louders. What up, Tamara? She's a weird individual. Remember, not Amber. The rapper Common's father has some explaining to do. Diddy, what? Pride cometh before his fall. Amber. All right. Okay, I'm getting on to 1 hour now. Oh, somebody, a new subscriber. Yo, what up, Unique? Shout out to Unique, new subscriber. She is terrified, and the fact that she says that she has no regrets tells me that she's still with him and freaking off. Diddy is still paying for her lawyer and paying for her house and paying all of her stuff right now. The lawyer that's in court with her right now, Diddy's paying for. I think that they would both run off together right now and go away on vacation. I feel like they are still in love with each other. Don't like this Jane Doe chick. She is something else, and I believe that she is just a gold digger, though I have no doubt that Diddy fraud and trafficked her. But come on now. That's a tough question. She's not innocent. Hey Trent, looking mighty fine, sir, thank you. Great recap, thank you. Diddy, that's a good point. The defense, that's her fault, Trent. I think he's a bit biased subconsciously because he downplays everything negative she says about Diddy. He's emphasizing the positive aspects. I don't think he realizes. I hope that's not saying that to me. All right, okay guys, I gotta go. I gotta get some food. I hope you liked the recap. This was such an exciting recap. I literally was running out here to come to you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget, even though I'm still doing mornings, lunch, and after it wraps, I'm still going to give you guys your official daily podcast. It might come a little bit later, but these are always going to be in the live sections. Yo, there's always so much noise here, man. Why are you doing this? Yeah. Oh, I bet you this is for, I bet you that's for LA. Look at his flag. Yeah, that's to support LA. So yes, normally we post the daily podcast at around 7, 8 o'clock. They're just gonna be a little bit later, but keep on tuning in. I will still do the lives and I will still do the daily podcast that you'll get other news. I know not everybody wants to hear about Diddy, so we'll still do our political and viral news, all right? I'll catch y'all later tonight. Thank you for tuning in. I love y'all. Peace!